Okay, what I'm going to show you here is a basic layout for the bookcase. I think it's probably best if you watch it first, obviously, and then it'll all make sense to you when it comes together. I've done it almost like a kit. So just remember this. If you're going to make a bookcase like we're going to do right now with a top, like a hutch that's going to be a low, like this is going to be 40 inches high, and you want a little overhang, you're going to do it the way I'm showing you right now. If you want to make it just a sort of a floor to ceiling, or even just a tall, narrow bookcase with a molding around the top, you can do it slightly different. I'm going to go over both right now with you. So I have 5 boards cut to start this project, just 5. 3 are exactly the same, and those are the vertical uprights. 1 for the middle, and then 2 on the ends. These are these 3. Right? And then I have 1 for the bottom, and then 1 for the top, which you see over here. And I don't expect the average homeowner, and this is really just sort of like a, you've got an apartment, you want some extra storage for books, project. I don't expect you to have this many clamps. There's a reason I did this. We had to extend the width of the board by 1.5 inches. You can do this another way. If you're going to do a top with an overhang, you can do it by taking some 1x1 material similar to this, put 1 in the front, put 1 in the back, just drill pilot holes, make them nice and straight. If you have a drill press, that'd be awesome. Glue it and just finish nail it, and then just tap them in with a nail set and you'll be fine. You don't need the clamps, okay? It's not structural, you just want it to look clean. If you're going to do something again that's standing straight up and down with a little molding at the top, you're going to make both of your boards the same. So your bottom and your top are going to be the exact same length now and width. We wanted this bookcase to be 7 feet long, so your bottom board, which is this one, is going to be 7 feet long. If you want it 6 feet, it's 6 feet, 4 feet, it's 4 feet, 2 feet, it's 2 feet. Your bottom one is the key to the width of the whole thing. The top one, if you're going to have an overhang, is going to be 1.5 inches longer and 1.5 inches wider. Just remember that. It'll make sense later. If it's going to be just one narrow bookcase without an overhang, make the top and the bottom the exact same dimensions. Now to the uprights, and again, it will all make sense when it comes together. I've got 3 boards that are exactly the same. You've got your 2 ends and you've got your middle, because we're going to have 2 doors on it. If you don't want doors, that's fine. You just use a shelf edge. Again, we'll show you later. Once you decide the measurement for your cavity, okay, for each shelf, in this case, our bottom shelf is going to be a little bit less than 16 inches, going to be like 15.25 inches will be the opening. Then the second one's going to be a little bit wider, and the third one's going to be a little bit narrower than that one. So, I'm sorry, narrower and then narrower. Whatever you want to do, you can do 1 shelf, you can do whatever you want. This is going to have 3 different areas, compartments. Okay, once you get that measurement, you take a square, or you could just measure up on both sides here and here and use a straight edge if you don't have a square. And then I'm just going to redo this line so you can see it. You'll take a pencil and just make a line. Then you'll do the same thing with this measurement, and then the only thing you're going to do slightly different with that middle board is you're going to flip it over with the middle, and I already had this done before, but I'm going to do it again for you, and you're going to make it a line on that side as well for the middle, but just for the middle board. Alright? You don't, the ends you just want on one side, and you can see that there. So just make sure that your middle has one on both sides. I'm rushing here and I shouldn't be. Okay. Got that. Now, the next thing you're going to do is take some stop material. This is just door stop. Okay, you see that profile? There's the door stop. What I'm going to do is put this on my shelf, glue it. Okay, I'm going to glue it and use brad nails. I have a nail gun. If you don't have a nail gun, just glue it and use some small brads. Make sure you don't come through the other side. Quick note on the boards. These came pre-primed. If they're not pre-primed, what I suggest is taking a piece of masking tape, putting it over this area on the bare wood, wherever you're going to be gluing something, okay, on the ends. Make sure you don't, right, prime that. And then after you prime it, I like priming it ahead of time, it makes painting a lot easier. And then you can just take the masking tape off. The reason is you want to have, whenever you glue wood, you want to glue it to bare wood. Otherwise you're gluing it to the primer. We scuff this up. It's okay. We'll be okay with this. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and we're going to do this on every line, being careful to make sure that we stay on that straight edge. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and nail that in. Just 2 is fine. Okay. You can do that on every line. Make sure you do it on the right side. Okay. And then on this one, you're going to do it on both sides. So they're identical on both sides. After we do all that, we can start to put this together, and the whole thing's going to make a lot of sense. All right, so the next step, after we get those cleats put on there, the trim pieces, we're going to, so the board is 7 feet 84 inches. We want to get the exact center. So that would be 48 inches, and we're going to mark 48 inches, no, I'm sorry, what was it, 84? Yeah, 42. So where am I at here? 42. So we're going to make a mark at 42. Okay, now this is going to be for the center, the vertical piece that's going to come up and form shelves on either side. So what we're going to do here, this is the 3/4 inch thickness of that. We're just going to center that. You see that? And just make a mark on either side. Just a little mark on either side. Okay, and then I can take my square. Again, if you don't have a square, you can just use a straight edge. Just make your mark on both sides so you can connect the straight edge. And I want to do this all the way across in case that board has a little bit of a bow or a cup to it. We can straighten it out. I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to go straight across. All right, that's where that center piece goes. Now the next thing is to set this up and nail this into the vertical piece. So we're going to flip it upside down. So we're going to get it set up. I don't know if you can get the camera angle to show this, but this board is a little bit bowed. I'm going to show you how to straighten that out now. If you come under, there's a little lip here when I'm flush here. So I'm just placing this on the end. So I'm going to go ahead and put a brad in here, and I'm going to start to move it up. All right. Now as I get to the center, I'm going to find the last spot where it's flush, which is about right here. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and start to bend this out. All right, now it'll keep it flush here, and then I can straighten that board out. See that? Now I'll pop a nail in right here. And I took that bow out of it. Okay? So you're going to, now come over here with the camera real quick. I want you to know, this is the bottom. It's the bottom of our bookcase. So this has got to be turned upside down, right? You want to make sure that your profile so that the flat end is on top. So in this case, we're flipping it upside down. Just want you to notice that. When we turn the bookcase up, this will be on the top. And make sure that they're all correct like that. For your middle, we're going to do the 2 end boards, and then we'll pop that middle one in where that line is that we made. All right, so we'll go ahead and finish this, and then I'll show you what we do from there. I'm putting some glue on here. I don't even know if I told you guys to put glue on there or not, but you want to make sure you glue the ends before you nail them. The glue is really what's going to hold it together. So now I'm going to go ahead and place this underneath. I've got my assistant over there. I don't know if it's going to help or not. He doesn't want to be on camera. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up underneath. Now I'm just going to go ahead and nail one side. You'll notice that I've transferred the line up. There's a reason for that. All right, and it's going to be a little off here. I'll show you in a second why. So let me get a nail going. Decided to use a hammer and nail because I'm assuming that's what most of you are going to be using. Just going to tap that in. Now I'm going to follow that line underneath. I'm looking underneath to make sure I stay on the line, and you'll notice that again the board is warped. the reason I transfer that line up and across the middle is because I know that this is where my board is. All right, I don't have to guess. Now I'll go ahead and tap this in here. Leaving them out a little bit in case I have to. All right, so now you see how that board is warped? I can pull it out and tap it in. Because I've got lines on both sides, I'll be able to follow it. There it is. Now I can tap it all over. And as long as my nail's in the middle here with these lines, I know I'm right in the center of the board. Now we're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing with the other board on the top. Okay, so I got the top on here. What I wanted to show you was how in the back, come over here with the camera, you can see it from that angle. You see how it's flush in the back? That's where that seam is, so this is flush. In the front, we got that 1.5" overhang, and on the side, we had 3/4 of an inch overhang. And I used the same method, just glue, drew my lines on the top and on the bottom so I can keep that board straight. Come over here slowly in the middle, it's the same, flush in the back, 1.5" overhang in the front. Now, the reason, if you go around the front over there, the reason that it's important that you have the overhang of 1.5" in the front is because we're going to use material, not this, but the same thickness, 3/4 of an inch casing, and when that comes up, right, that's going to be our front. Now we're left with 3/4 of an inch overhang on the ends and on the front. That's why there's such a wide overhang. So when we do this casing, we'll get to that later. I just wanted to show you that so you don't start wondering why it's such a wide overhang in the front.